Welcome to day 7, friends. Today we are going to be working on our sun. We will be using color 729 and we'll be using 4 strands, and we'll be doing a very similar stitch as the 2, except we're going to be going in a slightly different direction so it looks, like the sun is sunning out. That's not quite the right phrase I'm trying to think of. The sun is shining. We just want it to have a good flow to it. And then the sun rays will have a straight stitch, which is essentially a back stitch, but just really long. So it's going all the way from one tip to another tip. So let's get stitching. Okay, so as I said, we are doing this long and short stitch with an added back split stitch with it. Instead of moving from one corner to the other like we did here with the tube, we're going to kind of follow the direction of the rays. So what I like to do first is make kind of my guide as to where I'm going to be going. So I'm following these rays right now, and I'm just going to make some straight stitches throughout the piece. Doesn't really matter how long they are, not too long. And I'm just going to follow a little bit of the directions of the ray. I'm going to have to come in just a tad, meaning changing the angle. Not so much this, but a little more turned. And this is just going to help you stay on track as you're doing that long short stitch so that you don't accidentally start going too straight, but you'll be keeping this outward motion. Oh, that would happen. I didn't have my thread far enough on my needle. Okay, one more right here. Now, it is a little wasteful with your thread to start back over here, but I'm going to, because it's a little bit easier to start with more space than it is with this tighter space. So my preference is to go back over here and start doing the long short stitches. So I'm just going to, just like we did down below, I'm going to come next to that previous stitch I made and start making some long short stitches next to it. And these stitches, you don't want them to be too long, because since the sun is such a smaller space, we're not going to be able to fit quite as many stitches into it. This one I'm going to make is going to be just one full length. I keep getting knotted. The 729 does not like me today. There we go. So this is going to be one long stitch all the way from one corner of the sun to the other. And that almost has it all filled in. I'm going to do one more. Okay, scoot this up a little bit so you can see it. Now I'm going to come in and start working on those back split stitches. So I'm going to come in, split that previous stitch, And there'll be room, depending on where you are in the sun, to do this about 2 or 3 times. And as you notice down here, I just did one straight stitch. I didn't back split into anything at the very, very bottom. So here I'm gonna do, there's one stitch here, so I'm gonna go in one time and then a second time. Okay, so we're getting really close to our first ray right here. And what I like to do in order to save time and to not have a lot of floss coming in and out from behind, I'm going to, once I'm right here on the edge of my first ray, I'm going to, sorry, I started speaking about it a little too soon. I'm going to come out here to the ray and do a straight stitch, which is just coming up at one point and coming all the way down at the other point. So that first ray is done. Now I can continue moving on, and I don't have to worry about my thread in the back, because if I came back and just did the rays and I went from top to bottom and then I had to go back to the top again, I'd end up having a lot of extra floss in the back. And so this is just a way to both save time, do 2 things at one time, and not have excess floss in the back. So now I'm going to continue on making some long and short stitches. And because it is a curve, you are going to have to play around a little bit with where you put your back split stitch. It might not always go in the stitch that's in the same quote row like we did down below, but as long as you're splitting into something, it will be great. Okay, so I'm going to come back over this direction and start filling in my back split stitch. So I'm just kind of splitting the closest stitch that makes the most sense to keep with my directional pattern. I feel like a lot of the words I'm using don't quite make sense today. And remember, you want to try and be splitting not right next to the previous split so that it doesn't create a accidental pattern. Oh, hold on, I hear a child screaming. Okay, I'm back, sorry. So just continue your back split stitching. I'm just going to show you up to this next ray, and then we will be done for our video today. Okay, so I'm at this next ring, so I'm just gonna again come all the way to the top. Of course, get a knot. And then come straight down to the bottom. And then I can continue along the rest of the way. So that's all I'm going to show for today. But finish up your sun in your own time when you're ready to finish it, and then come back tomorrow and we will start working on our leaves.